Welcome, dear seekers of truth and connoisseurs of elegance, to a gala edition of your sanctuary for exclusives and nuanced storytelling, Lights on Turkish Stars. As the world swirled through the feverish countdown to 2026 beneath Istanbul's sleepless constellation of glittering lights, two figures who have quietly commanded the imagination of millions stepped into a night that felt written by fate. Tonight isn't about a simple rumor passed in a whisper. This is the anatomy of an evening stitched together with candlelight, courage, and unspoken promises. We're talking about the magnetic connection between Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda, a duo whose on-screen electricity in Arafta has unraveled beautifully into a fascination that simply refuses to fade. Before we descend into this maze of velvet lounges, celebratory toasts, and confessions barely audible over the crackle of fireworks, I invite you to fully join our world. If you value crafted narration and a commitment to uncovering what lies behind the curtain without losing sight of respect, subscribe to Lights on Turkish Stars, ring the bell, and truly consider clicking the join button. Becoming part of our members' circle safeguards the independence that makes this storytelling possible and opens the door to layers of detail the general audience will never see. Tap like, take your seat, and come with us into the heart of the most talked about New Year's Eve of the decade. New Year's Eve in Istanbul is never just a date. It's a carefully choreographed ballet of light and shadow where the city's brightest prefer the quiet corners to the roaring ballrooms. Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda, fully aware of the magnetism they radiate as the leading couple of Arafta and perhaps as a couple outside the frame, chose a setting that breathed timeless refinement. The restaurant's location remains a secret guarded by those who love good taste, but its reputation is a password among the most demanding palates. Silver-lit chandeliers drew a halo over tables curated with discreet opulence, and the kitchen danced between Ottoman memory and modern daring, building a stage for a conversation that felt unabashedly personal. People who were there swear it wasn't just the words that flowed. It was the language of glances, pauses, and the kind of synchronized breath that only the intimacy of shared workdays and quiet nights away from cameras can shape. Between one course and the next, they revisited the triumphs and trials of a year that refused to be ordinary. In 2025, their names migrated from television schedules to global conversation, charting them on maps they hadn't expected to conquer so quickly. But that dinner wasn't a victory lap. It was an act of gratitude. Two actors taking a beat to honor the unlikely calm they find in each other in a world where applause can quickly turn into noise. Let's take a reflective pause, Lights on Turkish Stars family. Hearing these details, it's impossible not to wonder, is the chemistry on screen just the polished work of professionals at the height of their craft? Or are we quietly witnessing the rise of something that might redefine Turkish celebrity storytelling for years to come? Tell us what you think in the comments in thoughtful detail. Will 2026 finally be the year they confirm what so many have already guessed? And if you appreciate this level of layered analysis, the join button is your VIP pass to the truth. Your support through join lets us travel, pursue leads, and deliver stories like this with the rigor and elegance they deserve. Join our circle and stay at the center of Lights on Turkish Stars. As the hands on the clock slid closer to midnight, Gökberk and Cemre left the candlelit warmth for a vantage point known only to insiders, an open-air balcony with a privileged gaze over the city's shimmering spine. There, where the Bosphorus holds history in its embrace and the bridges crown the water like jeweled necklaces, the two of them positioned themselves to welcome what comes next. The cold air skimmed their cheeks, but it didn't touch the temperature between them. They seemed sealed in a world of their own, a cocoon built from confidences and easy laughter. Down below, crowds roared beneath electronic rhythms, neon horns, and street performers. Up above, they chose silence, the kind that listens more than it speaks. Their closeness said what words would only dilute. Fingers interlaced in an instinctive assertion of trust, a gesture that lights up every panel of the body language experts who never miss a thing. And as the city prepared to erupt into color, Lights on Turkish Stars kept its gaze steady. These quiet moments often reveal the true architecture of a bond. No slogans or staged declarations were needed. Presence was their message, and it was louder than any speech. Then the moment came. Midnight struck, and 2026 stepped onto the stage in a storm of impossible colors. The sky over Istanbul bloomed as if it had been waiting all year for this cue, and amid that gleaming tempest, Gökberk and Cemre pulled each other into an embrace that made time pause. It was a refuge, an arrival, and a benediction. Not just a greeting to the new year, but a thank you for the resilience of the old one and the inexplicable grace of being in the same place, at the same time, with the same heart. Gratitude traced itself in small gestures. A laugh that didn't need framing, a touch that didn't ask permission, a smile that couldn't be staged. Those who witnessed from a respectful distance describe a scene like a romantic painting from another century, suddenly translated into the hyper-modern present. There were murmurs, promises of new projects, of meaningful choices, of things that matter beyond trending charts, and the fierce relief of knowing that they were together at the turning of the year. It was the ideal beginning. No crowded palace of publicity, just sincerity wrapped in fireworks. This is what we celebrate at Lights on Turkish Stars, the choice two luminous artists make to value stillness over spectacle when the calendar flips. At the end of every red carpet and exit interview, what remains is connection. And that's what 2026 seemed to offer them in its very first seconds. Before we arrive at the final movement of this chronicle, a heartfelt reminder. Lights on Turkish Stars is a platform devoted to excellence, craft, and grace. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it now and activate notifications so you never miss a moment like this again. And if you want to truly step into the inner circle that fuels our investigations, click the Join button. Your support through Join helps us remain your foremost source for Turkish celebrity narratives done with care. Also tell us below, which other stars do you want us to spotlight on the channel soon? Your voice guides our editorial roadmap. Click Join and become part of our elite community. The dawn of 2026 finds Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda at the brightest point of their careers, and the industry has noticed. Their New Year's Eve rendezvous wasn't accidental. It felt like the crescendo of a connection we've been tracing carefully here at Lights on Turkish Stars. Whispers already suggest that this year won't stop at renewed seasons or ratings milestones. Some say 2026 might also carry an announcement of a more intimate kind. The calm joy that settled over them after their night together hinted at a balance between relentless schedules and a life that actually feels lived, that most can only dream of. International magazines have begun echoing the same phrase, a perfect start. For fans of Arafta, seeing the show's pillars share something as sacred as midnight on New Year's is a signal that the magic doesn't clock out when the director says cut. We go one layer deeper. This night felt like a statement of intent. Gökberk and Cemre showed that it's possible to hold the world's attention and still preserve the purity of what makes two people choose each other. Their night of quiet joy in Istanbul reads like a prologue to a year that could change everything for them. We arrive at the end of this chronicle with that rare satisfaction of having witnessed something honest in a world endlessly rehearsed. Gökberk Yıldırım and Cemre Arda reminded us that grandeur isn't measured in the size of a room or the spotlight's wattage, but in the quality of the company and the courage to be present. A private dinner, a shared horizon, and an embrace beneath exploding stars were enough to write a new chapter in their story before our eyes. From Lights on Turkish Stars, we'll keep a careful watch on each gesture, each caption, each elusive shadow, to bring you the truth draped in our signature elegance. We hope 2026 overflows with victories for this unforgettable pair and with exclusive revelations for all of you. If this journey stirred you as much as the fireworks over the Bosphorus, don't forget to like, share with fellow admirers of Gökberk and Cemre, and of course, subscribe. And one more time, seriously consider joining our members by hitting the Join button. Your support through Join is the flame that keeps Lights on Turkish Stars burning bright. Until the next exclusive, always here, always yours on the channel you trust.